Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Sandeep Pednekar, and you're watching One Universe, the show based on the nonprofit One Universe that fosters positivity through the promotion of love, peace, and harmony. When we talk about love, peace, and harmony, we have had several guests, but we have a very unique guest today. Uh, and this is something that I'm very, very happy to share. Uh, Dr. Sharma ji. Thank you for coming to Memphis all the way. And your first name also goes with a big actor, Amitabh Bachchan. So, we have Dr. Amitabh Sharma from Atlanta. He's originally from India, but he's here to do phenomenal things. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sandeep. I'm elated and I'm privileged to be on your show. I've heard good things and very good things about what you're doing, and it's a matter of pride and joy
Thank you
that
so
I'm
much.
sharing my thoughts with you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, for the benefit of our viewers, please introduce yourself.
Okay, so as you said, my first name is Amitabh, and I come from a city of Taj Mahal, which is Agra in Uttar Pradesh, India. Been raised there, and I have been educated in India. I have a master's in management and a PhD in marketing.
Very nice.
Uh, I have been with oil and gas industry for 14 years in India prior to embarking on entrepreneurial journey. Then I spent about 5 years creating a solution-oriented IT company in India, and then came to the US in 1995 and then formed two companies, Asterix Consulting and Aspire International, both in IT.
Okay.
Ran them for 23 years. And then, because I have this lineage from my father and mother to be giving back to the community, so that idiosyncrasy prevailed on me. And then for the last 7 years, I've hung up my boots and I am giving back to basically my adopted land, which is America, and also my birthplace land, my Janmabhoomi, Matrabhoomi, Karm, India, Bharat. So, the manner in which I'm giving back, I would love your audience to know. I'm very heavily engaged into what Modi ji very proudly exclaims and appeals, आह्वान करते हैं वो लोगों का कि जो colonial mindset है, that should be totally disowned and done away with. So, on that, my focus is in terms of the education, the creative education.
Very nice.
So, I'm very heavily involved into STEM, science, technology, engineering, math.
Okay.
And we have developed one of the most comprehensive STEM curriculum for grades 3 to 10. And we are trying to introduce this in India in a big way, all for no profit motive, but to help younger generation in India to understand जो हमारी गुरुकुल की परंपरा थी, the peer-to-peer learning, the collaborative learning, the learning which is oriented towards finding solutions for day-to-day challenges, issues. So all that is inseminated in children at a young age. So on that score, in India, in US also, my wife and I ran a Montessori school, which is all based upon the creative pursuit and the leadership and the vision and the insight. To be able, we ran it for 10 years. And now we are running a school in India for the last 18 years in Agra for underprivileged children, 133 children.
Wow.
But the focus is on this germinating this thought amongst children that we don't have to really go into becoming corporate slaves as Macaulay had once envisioned Indian children to become.
Correct.
To be rather than going into startups and having their own entrepreneurial journey and self-sufficiency, जिसको हम आत्मनिर्भर भारत बोलते हैं या सशक्त भारत बोलते हैं. So that is my mission. And as a natural corollary to that, Sandeep, we are also trying to create an innovation hub in Agra. I have just had an agreement with Agastya International Foundation out of Bangalore, and they are proficient in experiential education.
Very
So we are
nice.
trying to build an edifice, an infrastructure in Agra, which is the first out of their original 172 acres in Kuppam in Andhra Pradesh and Bangalore. So we will be doing that and then replicating it to other locations. So we are doing this on a PPP basis, private public partnership, where it will be my real estate, their model, and Yogi ji's, Adityanath ji's blessings in UP.
Very good.
So this is my ambit of activity. But aside from that, the mission that I have come to Memphis, this was on the side, but
This is very good because I would like people to understand who you are as a
yes,
person. And I want to address one more thing that you mentioned before I get into something slightly personal. Is that like India, US was also occupied by the British,
sure,
but we were occupied in such a way that they forced their information and disinformation onto us. And you also mentioned Macaulay, and he did. I think this was from 1886 onwards. He or even before that, he was actually hired by the British. Max Miller was also hired by the British, and the Vedas and the Upanishads were, they were not necessarily skewed, but they were transcribed or explained in such a way that it showed that, oh, that the British rule, the British information is a lot more important than what we had thousands and thousands of years ago. And we know that for thousands of years ago, and we are not talking about 2 or 3 thousand, it is several thousand years ago, we had so much science. And you mentioned that last night. So when we talk about coming to this, I would like you to mention those things also. But the reason I wanted is because most of our viewers are from the Mid South, and I wanted them to know that when they're talking about 4th of July, Independence Day, they're talking about independence from somebody who occupied. And we were occupied for 150, 200 years. And there were invaders, the Mughal invaders, the Muslim invaders, and we have survived that. But what you're trying to do, I'm going to lead you into that so that
sure.
you can get into uh, talking about the merits of what you're attempting to get done and starting from Memphis. So
Sure.
please tell. Oh, and before that, please tell about your personal life, your wife, your children.
Okay, good. So I've got a beautiful wife. Her name is Meenu Sharma, and
Very
she is
nice.
a PhD in child psychology
Oh, wow.
and very hard my taskmaster in terms of educating and ingraining amongst children the tenets of how to build character. So she has been an educator ever since, even in India and now here. And we've got two lovely children. One is a son based in Boston, and he is a Georgia Tech graduate and
Very nice.
UC Berkeley and then Harvard.
Oh, wow.
And our daughter-in-law is also from Georgia Tech and then MIT, and both of them are directors in healthcare companies.
Wow.
And our daughter is has traveled for 7 different destinations. She is a graduate from Georgia Tech and then from HEC Paris, management graduate, MBA. She's worked Beijing, China, Switzerland, Seoul, South Korea, Germany, London, all over the place. And now
Very
she's
nice.
back. She's back in Atlanta. So
Okay,
that's
good.
our family. Yes.
You're blessed,
Thank you.
both with your parents and with your children.
Correct.
Very good. Very nice.
But before I embark on the journey that we are on in Memphis too, uh, I want to allude to this Macaulay thing.
Mhm.
So the East India Company came to India uh, primarily for trade, right?
At
But
least they use that as a pretext. Yeah.
But essentially, their hidden motive or latent mission was to make our society, our community subservient, right?
To them.
To them. And as a matter of subservience, they were trying to find ways and means how they can do that. But we have a very religious, very emotional content in our community in India, and it's very difficult to break that deep-rooted belief system. So they hired many people, including Macaulay, and Macaulay finally homed on to this policy that hey, unless and until he disturbs or they disturb the very basic foundation of education, it will not create. So they kind of advocated that hey, we should dispel with our Vedas, our yoga, our Ayurveda, whatever, and make it very demeaning and belittling for Indians to feel that this is of substance. And then they made a value proposition for English and for modern thought and so on and so forth.
And so anybody who talked the regional languages was uneducated.
Precisely, precisely. So that's how that psyche still remains amongst Indians, because it was over 150, 200 years that this was kind of repetitively grounded. And so we are now at a stage where we have achieved so much, and we want to dispel that. And so from the top, Modiji onward, downwards, the entire NCRT endeavor and the Ministry of Education's endeavor and the AICT endeavor in India, All India Council of Education, is to be able to uh, inseminate this thought that listen, whatever is Indian, whatever we had in the past, whatever our rich heritage is, whatever our civilizational strength is, that should be our moment of glory. So that is the mission. And so it borders on what you asked me as to why we are in Memphis, Tennessee. So I think we are to
Thank
the
you.
point now.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let me amplify.
Yes,
So
please.
2014, Modi ji visited India, America for the first time. Before that, we all know that there was an embargo. So when he came here, he met with a lot of intellectuals and people of achievement here in the US. And then he said, listen, it's very important that we come to the point that we start telling our story. And I want to repeat that for the benefit of your audience. So he harped on the point that, hey, it is time that we told our own story. And let me digress a little bit. So the Jews, as I said last night, the Jews have very well articulated what they meant. They were a very satisfied, happy, successful community. And they never thought that anybody is going to be able to destroy or damage that, right? But then a handful of people, and went through gas chambers and this and that, whatever happened. But today, they have been able to withstand that pressure. And today we see the Jewish community at the top of everything that they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, so taking a leaf from that, taking a leaf from that chapter, we felt that, hey, if a small community of 14, 15, 16 million people do it, 1.5 billion people, I mean, we have got inherent strength in our. So he said that narrative has to be built, a compelling narrative has to be built. So from then on, and it was almost the time, 2014, 16, 17, when I was thinking, hey, listen, enough is enough. I've been blessed with everything, worked hard, achieved, and the American dream, as they say, for everybody. So I said, let me just devote myself to this. So the journey between my wife and I started from 2014, and we started collating data. And we felt, if you visited a Jewish museum, have you, Sandeep?
No, I'm
Okay.
not.
So if you visit a Jewish museum, it's very candid. And you see three stages: what they were, what they went through, the Holocaust and all that, and what they are today.
Mm.
So, to my mind and my wife's mind, I gripped. So, wherever we went to Cape Town, South Africa, we went to Los Angeles, we went to Chicago, we went to Delhi, we went everywhere across the world, Atlanta. We found Jewish museums. So, they have done very well in terms of enlivening the ordeal that they went through,
Mm-hmm.
right? The entire history, and so they very vividly present to the community. If you step into a museum and spend an hour, hour and a half, you in no way can come out unmoved.
True.
When you come out, you say, "Hey, they were a happy community. They went through all this crisis. Now they have emerged. as a strong community. So I said, well, we have never told our story. Our story has been heard through the Mughal lens or through the lens of the Britishers.
British.
And it has never been. So, whatever you and I have learned, this has been all dropped down or percolated down in a very different fashion. And and I don't want to allude to or be very vociferous about it, but our ministers of education or whoever, they never let the actual facts, the factual theory, so much so that when you talk of, I'm from Agra and Taj Mahal is supposed to be a monument of love and Shah Jahan and all that. Well, the fact of the matter is, it used to be a Shivalaya. And so now Tejo Mahal. So now this guy Paresh Rawal has come up with the movie, the Taj story and all that. Anyway, so the idea is, we felt, hey, a rich civilization, a very old heritage like us, right? We go back Mahabharata, we go back Ramayana. So tracing our history, our rich culture from then, and then lo and behold, for 6.5 million Jews were subjected to Holocaust. Would you believe, Sandeep, that in excess of 400 million of Indians, Hindus, have been subjected to genocide? Yeah. Nobody knows about it, right?
And the fact is that when something, a figure like that is presented, they say it's baloney.
Baloney, yes.
Right? Even today, which unfortunately the politicians during the time of partition of India, which should not have happened in the first place. So Pakistan and Bangladesh were integral part of India. They were separated only in 1947. But even prior to that, Afghanistan was also a part of India. And even now, there are some British ministers who go out in the street and they are saying that India is occupying Pakistan, occupied Kashmir. Kashmir was an integral part of India. So the thing is that not only in the past, but even in the present, there are entities that are misusing social media to give away wrong information. So what you're doing, I see, has not only been essential, and it has been in the works for so many decades, but in our minds also, that I personally feel that yes, we have been wanting to tell, but we withhold ourselves because nobody believes us, because the facts are skewed, and they have been presented in a very, very wrong way for decades and decades. So for us, it is going to be an uphill battle. And I am so proud that you have undertaken that battle. So hats off to you.
No, thank you, Sandeep. But this is required. This is the time.
Necessity, absolute necessity. Yeah.
This is the need of the hour. And if you see, as I was mentioning, this psyche of self-defeatism, this psyche of having low pride, low self-esteem. I mean, there has to be education, 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 making people aware, making people enlightened that, listen, we are from a rich civilization. If you talk to the Western society, even still, they think that we are cow, curry, dung, and snake charmer land. No, it's not true. Yeah. See, we have got all the major discoveries. You talk of Aryabhatta, you talk of Charak, you talk of Sushruta, you talk of Varamira, you talk of Ramanujan. I mean, they were eliminated. They were people. And talk of all these guys, Einstein, and they have really revered our philosophy. Our Vedanta.
And they have talked about that Hinduism is the mother of what they are learning and what they are.
It's a cradle of civilization. That was the exact words.
Yeah, correct.
So now we have to expound that. We have to bring that to the fore. So somebody had to do it. It's like saying the obvious is not quite obvious. Why hasn't anybody done it? Well, because people see, chat and speaking and writing is all very cheap. But then doing, that's very important. So my wife and I, and a couple of other people, including Rajesh Guti from Washington, D.C., who is my fellow compatriot in this, like they say, partners in crime, we are totally devoted into bringing this to fruition. And so the journey started in 2014. We have traveled, a lot of water has flown the bridge. We have collected all the data from, as I said earlier, years, and then traversing through the Mughal period, the British period, the Goa Inquisition, St. Francis Xavier, then the Bengal
Mm-hmm.
famine, all that, and then traversing and coming up to today, where we are a powerhouse. We are having 8.2% our
GDP
GDP
growth.
growth and all
Mhm.
that, and becoming a real world power, as they say, right? So people need to know about it. Now, we always talk, that's a normal parlance. You go to a marriage ceremony, you go to a birthday party. Oh, what are we leaving for our next generation? Ironic as it may be, Sandeep, even our generation is unaware as to what our strength of our society is,
Mhm.
what our strength of our civilization is.
And it is
So it's important for us to be able to get them to understand that
absolutely,
this
yeah,
is where you belong,
yeah.
so that there is a lot of pride, self pride.
Mhm.
There's a lot of self, elevate that level. And then, more importantly, in America, there is so much of racism, there's so much of discrimination. Our gurdwaras, our holy places are being vandalized. Our way of life is being challenged, right? Our bindi, our way of dressing, attire, that is being challenged. So it is important for us to sensitize this community, sensitize multi-ethnic societies, Latinos, the Orientals, the blacks, whites, everybody. They listen. We are people of merit. We are on the right side. Did you know that 6 or 6.5% of the taxes in the United States are paid by the 220, whatever, 4.5 million, 5 million Hindu
Yeah,
Indians,
yeah.
right? So and we are always on the right side of the law, by and large,
Always,
right?
yeah.
We are very God-fearing, righteous people. So we need people to understand. Ironically, we have got brown skin, so they cannot differentiate between us and somebody else who is of the same
Right.
idiosyncrasy. So Sandeep, we are now dedicated to this mission, and what we have done is, over the period of number of years, the last 7 8 years,
Mhm.
we have collected this data, a repository of information,
Mhm.
and this is now under cross validation, cross referencing, so that nobody can raise a finger. And the idea is, in this social media world, when you send a WhatsApp message, when you send something or PPT or demonstration, the attention is very transitionary, right?
Mm.
You see something today, you get excited, and tomorrow something else comes, you forget. So the era is today of a brick and mortar museum, which is going to be in perpetuity, driving people, young children from school groups coming, all the emissaries coming, the congressmen, the senators, viewing what India is,
Mm.
getting to know firsthand. Oh my God, you are such a rich civilization, and also you've gone through all this period of travail and tribulations, right? We have never played our victim card. So the idea is not to offend anybody.
Right.
The idea is to tell them, hey, this is our story, our own story, in our own way.
Right. And one of the things that I also wanted to mention, and you just brought it up, is that when you give an example of when we talk about going into marriage and what are we leaving, what legacy are we leaving for our children, the 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 issue is that we and our parents were also victims of the education that was forced upon us. So when I look at it from a different perspective, being in the US for over 3 decades, I realize, okay, there is a different way to look at things and how I was brought up. And even in school, I used to say, you know what, I'm not going to be an orthodox, or I'm not going to follow just because somebody is saying, or my parents, I'm going to follow only if science proves it. And now when I come to the here in the US, into the biggest Western world, the richest country on the face of this planet, I realize that, well, we have Christians who are really, really proud of their faith, who follow, and they can be as orthodox as can be, 100 times more than what we were as Hindus. So no matter what, even though we were victims, we never ever played the victim card. And and that may be good or bad, but I think from a good perspective, I see to it that you are changing the narrative of not playing the victim card itself and presenting what the facts are.
Factual.
Fact, everything is factual and proving it. And for that, the museum is coming in place. And for of all the places in the world, Memphis is the place that you have selected, because there is a cattle farm, or as we call it, is a gaushala,
Yeah.
because Go is for us, cow is like very holy. We treat cow as mother. And in speeches that I present, I tell them, yeah, I'm talking about Hinduism, but people ask me, why should a cow be sacred? Why can't you eat beef? That's nonsense. I said, I agree. I totally agree. It's an alien thing, but can you, a Western person, whether you're American, British, or any Western culture, why in the world do you use the term holy cow?
Right. Right.
So then they shut up. They said,
Yeah.
we don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So I said,
So
because
that's in
it
common
comes,
parlance
right?
used
So now,
inadvertently.
right.
Hmm.
So then the fact is that you need to realize what importance there is. Instead of just criticizing or laughing at somebody else, why don't you try to understand?
Hmm.
And how we have never ever invaded other country in 1,000 years.
We never
We
have expansionist tendencies.
right, and we do not go out. Hindus do not go out and say, "Hey, you have to become a Hindu." There can be Christian missionaries, there are Muslim missionaries, but you never ever see a Hindu missionary
True.
going out and saying, "Oh, you have to convert," and all of that. So why is not that being looked upon from a positive perspective?
Yeah.
So what, and I'm also telling my viewers that what is being done, the steps that you're taking towards bringing in that positive impact also aligns with what we through One Universe do, fostering positivity through the promotion of love,
True.
peace, and harmony.
Right.
So I definitely thank you, and I know time is of essence right now. You mentioned a few names, and for our listeners, they don't know who Aryabhatta is, was Sushruta, and all of that. So we are going to do not one or two, but several other interviews with
Right.
you, and
Absolutely.
I can tell, but I would like to comment directly from the horse's mouth.
Sure.
And we will have several interviews, and it can maybe online. And so I'm saying it on air so that you know that you can hold me responsible and ask, why haven't you got Dr. Sharma on the show again?
Sure.
But thank you so much. We have a whole lot more to talk,
Yes.
but 100 times more to do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Before I end, Sandeep,
yeah, please.
so let me just share with your viewers that this is going to be a very state of the art museum. And the viewers or the people who come and see it, the audience, they will be really bedazzled. Why? Because we are using immersive technology, we are using audio visual technology, using murals, we're using displays, and we have been very lucky and fortunate to be blessed by leading historians, Indologists, spiritual people of spiritual prowess, and also people who are versatile in setting up similar museums all across the world, especially in India. And unfortunate as it may be, if you go to any museum in India today, the Salarjung Museum or Museum of Indian History in Calcutta or this and that, all you see is the Purani topis and the vessels and the vastras and all that. But you never see this kind of a vivid kaleidoscope of information being traversed from centuries ago right through the current time. So I think this will be a journey to really people experience what they should be really proud of.
And
And so once it
actually to
comes into
present that what glory India was,
correct,
and it still is.
it's a, so the idea is to not only have one museum, of course, and why we chose Memphis is because we have Purushottam Garu here who runs this cow Goshala, as you rightly said. So there is some divine blessings. There's some spiritual kind of input here, and for we were propelled. In fact, the idea is we are also looking at locations in Atlanta, where I am located, situated, and in Washington, D.C. We are talking with the embassy in Delhi also. By the way, Gautam Adani, if your people have heard this name, the leading industrialist in India, he has also just kind of reiterated and reinforced the thing that Modi ji said, that it is time that we told our story.
Yeah.
So, viewers, I think we all would want to be, and this is not my mission, this is a collective Indian diaspora's mission in America, since we are sitting in America,
Absolutely.
that everybody should partake in this mission, in this movement, in this mammoth project. And so once we have everything, our ducks in the row, then we will reach out to people to be able. There are 4.55 million people here of immense uh, financial and other strengths. So we will like everybody to be a partner in this progress towards elevating and heralding what India and Indian ethos stands for.
Thank you.
Pradeep.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been educational even for me, and I hope it's for you. If you want to know more, you can contact us. I do not want to give Dr. Sharma's number outright way, but we need help. As he said, each and every person, and it does not necessarily have to be Indian itself. If you're an American, if you're a British, and you have information that can help, and if you have somebody, if you are a student of Indiology, Indic studies, then I would like you to participate and partake in this huge venture. It is a mammoth venture, as Dr. Sharma said, and we can use all the help, not only finances, but other resources,
Absolutely.
educational and others, and manpower also that go with it. Whether you are here in Memphis in the Mid South, or in different parts of the world, or in different parts of the country itself,
Sure.
we would like you to reach out to us. And if you would like, then we would like you to take measures so that we can have museums in your part of the world.
Also, to end, yesterday when we finished this small presentation in this public forum, there was a gentleman who came. He said, "Listen, I've got a very rare artifacts or murals in Hyderabad, and I want to donate to your museum. So, if any of you viewers or many of the viewers have this kind of displays or murals or artifacts which will have gravitas in terms of lending it to the museum, we'll be happy." Here in Gaushala in Memphis, we are creating a headquarters so that, and there's ample space here, we can store things here. So if whoever is interested in donating those, then Sandeep ji is the person to contact.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, have a great day
Thank you.
and great time.
Yeah.
And know that when you tune into our show, you are going to have a really good and positive vibes. Thank you so much.